Hello everyone. In this session, let's understand what are the selenium components and history of selenium. Okay. So, selenium is the latest version of selenium that is available right now is selenium 4.11.0. Prior to this particular selenium 4 version, there are some other versions that are available like selenium 1, 2 and 3. Let's understand what are the components of each of the selenium versions. Okay, so selenium, first understand why the name selenium is given for this particular project. Okay, selenium is, first of all, before selenium has been come into market, there is a very demanding tool called QTP or UFT, which is uh, web and desktop automation testing tool, which is available in the market. Okay, so this QTP UFT is a tool which is used for automating the tests on web and also the desktop applications. The company which owned QTP is Mercury company. Okay, Mercury, do you see anywhere the Mercury? Did you see anywhere this Mercury? Like you usually see Mercury inside a thermometer. Mercury is found inside a thermometer and it's a poisonous material. And if for suppose someone has broke this thermometer and swallows that mercury, he might die. So the antidote which helps him to get alive is nothing but a selenium. So selenium is a component which acts as an antidote for mercury. So as these selenium people want to become the competitor and want to just kill this mercury company's um, name and fame and want to be the trending rather than the other tools in the market, like they want to be the competitor of QTP. They just named the tool name. It is not a tool, as I said earlier. They just made the project name as Selenium to be the competitor of this Mercury company, which has QTP as a automation testing tool. Okay, so now Selenium first started with a version called 1.0. Okay, who developed this particular Selenium 1.0? It is developed by Jason Huggins and he is from ThoughtWorks company. Okay, and he designed it in the year of 2004. So it's been 20 years since Selenium is there in the market and it will be there in the future too. So Selenium, though being a web-based application testing framework, it has a great demand and it will be there for in the future too. Okay, so what did he do? Jason Huggins, he has designed some of the components as a part of Selenium 1.0. What are the basic components of Selenium? Do you have any idea? Basic components of Selenium are IDE, RC, WebDriver, and Grid. In as a part of the Selenium 1.0, which Selenium 1.0, we have components called IDE, RC, and Grid. And the next version is Selenium 2.0, and it went till 2.53.1, and it has components like IDE, RC, WebDriver, and Grid. Okay, and Selenium 3.0, which went till 3.141.9, and it has components like IDE, WebDriver, and Grid 3. And Selenium 4, which is the latest one, and the current version which is available is 4.11.0, and it also has IDE, WebDriver, and Grid 4. Okay, so let's understand from the beginning. Like, as a part of Selenium 1.0, there is something called IDE. IDE is nothing but it's a record and playback tool. Okay, so let's see how this looks like, the IDE. And as a part of 1.0, IDE is only available for Firefox browser. Okay, it is not there for other browsers like Chrome, and even in Selenium 2.0, it is only available for Firefox, and from 3.0, it is available for Firefox and also the Chrome, and even Selenium 4, it is available for Firefox and Chrome. Okay, so let's understand how this IDE looks like. Go to selenium.dev and just search for IDE. You could see Selenium IDE. Okay, so it is available for three browsers, Firefox and also Edge. Okay, so download. How I want it for the Chrome browser. I can just say before I have this particular extension, you will get something option called add to Chrome. So you can just say add to Chrome and click on add extension so that the Selenium IDE will be installed this way and you will find it as a part of extensions. In order to start working with Selenium IDE, just click on that extension and give a project name like Selenium IDE demo and click on OK and give the base URL like google.com and click on start recording so that it will navigate to google.com. And now let's give WebDriver and just navigate to some of the website. So you could see something. There is a Selenium ID is recording pop-up is displayed, and whenever you just go to Selenium IDE, you could see there are commands that are being generated as a part of the recording. So you can just stop the recording and just give some test name like test one. Okay, and you can also save this project on your desktop if you need. Okay, I'm just saving it. And if you just see, I can also run this particular test. If I run this, automatically the script gets executed. See, preparing to test. So it has been executed so quick as there are only few steps. Okay, and you could also export the code which is generated. As we are working on Java, let's import as a Java and just give some name to this Java file. And there you go. You can see something called Java file which has been generated, and you can edit with Notepad++, and you can see the code. This code is similar to code which we will be discussing while doing the WebDriver. Okay, this is not so complex code, but this IDE is something, it's a simple tool, and there are certain other integrations that will be done when we are just designing our framework. For example, if I just say Selenium components only play a role of 25%, and remaining 75% of the automation testing will be done by the third party integrations. What are the third party integrations like Log4j, Java Mail API, Apache POI, even the Java, mm, and Maven, Jenkins, AWS, Docker, and the list goes on. So there are many third party integrations that we do as a part of designing our framework that cannot be achieved when you are just using a simple component like IDE, because this IDE is a small feature which is like a record and playback tool, and it can't be integrated with other third party integrations or the libraries. Okay, so normally whenever we are working with Selenium, the most of the the industry works on designing some coding component or using some or the other coding component rather than using a record and playback tool for their automation testing. Okay, so one of the coding component that is being designed as a part of Selenium 1.0 is the RC. What does RC mean? RC mean remote control. Okay, remote control is a component, we can say it's a coding component. And what does it have? As a part of this code component, he Jason Huggins has designed a small library or a class which is called default Selenium. So this is one of the class he has designed, and inside this class we have certain methods like start for starting the browser, open for navigating, and you can have string URL for opening a particular URL, navigate to an URL. And what you will do on a particular website, you will do some click operations, type operations, and you can close the browser. So there are certain set of methods that are being designed as a part of this particular class. Okay, and in order to just automate our particular website, normally people just create a object for this class which is default Selenium, and they can easily call the methods, like they can say new default Selenium, and they can call all the methods. First start method, next followed by d dot open some google.com, d dot some click operation they can perform, d dot type, and finally he can perform the close of the browser. So this is a remote control related class. Okay. If you observe, this is only and only one class that is available with some methods. Okay. So we can say that it is a limited library that is being available. And also observe these everything is a Java program. Then how a particular browser has been interacted using this particular Java code. So what I mean is, what is the mode of communication with the browser? Communication with the browser, because we are automating the browser applications, right? Web application. But as we see here, it's a simple Java class and a methods that has been created. So what happens is like the mode of communication with the browser is done through something called JavaScript inject JavaScript injections. What does a JavaScript mean? The first one, JavaScript mean. Where exactly you find JavaScript? Any idea? And where do JavaScript runs? JavaScript runs on our browsers. For example, if you don't want to use Selenium, you can also perform certain click operations or type operations using JavaScript too. Okay, JavaScript will be somewhat complex and it will be in the form of code like document dot get element by id and you will give some ID over here, some XYZ, and you can just select. So what happens is like this is a part of JavaScript, and if you want to perform click operation on this, you can just say dot click. So inside this particular methods, what they have done is like they have written a JavaScript injection code, JavaScript code. For example, they have written like this. Though this is a Java program, inside the methods, they have written the JavaScript code so that it can interact with the browser actions, okay, and perform actions on the browser, okay. So in order for this JavaScript to work, there is something called Selenium standalone server that has to be started. So this is a server which is responsible for injecting JavaScript and performing actions on the browser. Okay, so every time if you want to do some operations on the browser, you need to just interact with this Selenium standalone server. You need to start it, and then only this injection of JavaScript code gets executed and the browser actions are being executed. Okay, so the Selenium 1 architect, Selenium RC architecture looks this way. Let me just show you. So if you just see the Selenium RC architecture, this is a Eclipse, which is an IDE where you will write your code. And in order to just perform some operations on this browser, we need to start the remote control server. Okay. Once this remote control server has been started, this interacts with the browser and performs, or it will inject some JavaScript operations, and JavaScript injections make sure that the actions on the browser has been performed. Okay, so there is a mediator called remote control server that has to be started every time if you want to just work with RC. Okay, so that's why it has the disadvantage, and later on there is some other component called WebDriver came into picture. So the disadvantage is like, the one disadvantage is every time you need to start the server, Selenium standalone server. Okay, and the second disadvantage is it is a limited library. For suppose even in manual testing you will do multiple permutation and combination of test cases, right? You can't automate everything when you have a limited library. See, there is only one class available and it has limited methods. So if you want to just automate something which is not there as a part of these methods, you can't do that, right? So when it the disadvantage is when you have a limited library, you can't automate anything. You can't automate everything. Sorry, not anything. It's everything. You can't automate everything. Okay, and the third disadvantage is the JavaScript injection itself. Okay, what is the disadvantage in this? So JavaScript injection, do you know, in the time of 2004 when Java 1.1 has come into picture, what is the major browser that has been used? The major browser that we have at the time of 2004 is Internet Explorer, and we know how secure the Internet Explorer is, right? Being a secured browser, it don't used to allow for the JavaScript injections. So people used to face problems with the JavaScript injection, which is a part of the Selenium RC. Okay, so because of that, what they used to do is they used to remove protected mode from the settings of IE browser. Okay, why they want to remove this? Because as IE is a secured browser, it used to block the s- JavaScript injections. Okay, so in order to make that work, they used to remove the protection mode which is available in the IE browser settings. Okay, then the JavaScript injection used to work, but the problem is like there might be certain HTTPS secured browsers or websites, and there might be some websites which used to just use SSL certs. Okay, so then the problem used to come again, like it used to throw some SSL certificate errors when you just remove this protection mode from the settings. Okay, how it used to be is like, I think you might have seen certain messages like this for the SSL certificate errors like this on your browser, right? So they used to throw such errors when this protected mode has been removed. So that's why, as IE is the major browser that is being used at that time, and also as it is unable to automate our tests, as it is not allowing JavaScript injections, people has faced many problems in automating their websites. Okay, so then came the Selenium WebDriver. Okay, as a part of Selenium 2 version. Okay, we will see about this.